Hello, how are you? Anyway, I want to talk about something. Sometimes, most of the time, justice is healing, okay? Now, I get that sometimes people can do things to you, and it's not always a matter of getting back at them or doing something back to them for you to heal. But here's the thing. In some cases, there has to be justice. The reason why is because it's unfair to you or anybody else to continue to go on and heal and heal and heal. You know why? Because stuff keeps happening all the time. So now you're not only healing from the stuff that happened with you when you was a baby or a little girl, and then an adolescent, and then a teenager. See, stuff will just continues to keep happening. And so as you become an adult, right, you want to work on those things when you're aware that you need to work on those things to keep them from controlling your life, to keep those type of experiences from controlling your life, right? But see, that becomes a task when you're still dealing with daily life. And we can say all we want to, well, it's up to you to not let others get to you. But the problem is a lot of people are hurting, and it's hard to keep trying to put up a shield and protect yourself and do all that stuff when you have so much stuff that you have to work on already. So it's not easy for everybody to do it. Sometimes people are so wounded but still have to get up and go to work today because they have to still pay bills or do whatever they have to do. And that is kind of hard to do all that stuff. And then they keep getting additional wounds from coming into contact with people. Okay? But here's what I got to say. Like for the example that I gave yesterday with the situation with me, it's in my last upload about something that happened with me. Somebody just decided to just say, don't come back here. Don't even give me a reason. Don't say nothing. Just like basically don't worry about it. Just don't come back. Don't worry about the reasons. They think that's going to be okay. And let me tell you something. My healing at this point, from this point on, is going to come from justice. Especially when people are in a position of authority and they're malicious. Like, for example, a judge, for example, police, for example, whatever, a supervisor, an administrator, whatever they are. If they're in a position of authority and they do a lot of unjust stuff to you, unrighteous stuff or whatever, I don't want to heal from it. Not in the way that people say heal. I'm not going to go to a therapist and talk about it, okay? It's like in this case, it's going to have to be an eye for an eye. Because people like that abuse their authority. They are unfair. They abuse their authority. They don't care. They don't care about anybody else. They should not be in that position. And when stuff like that happens, I know the justice system is not very fair when it comes to I'm going to call it the physical world or ego world or whatever you want to call it, the false world, the false matrix, the false reality. Justice is not too fair in that kind of reality. That's actually what you call a hell. Justice is not really fair in hell. So what you have to do is get into a spiritual type of system. Because I don't want to be low and dirty when it's time for these people to get what's coming to them. I don't want to be low and, I don't want to, I don't, how can I say it? Switching to a spiritual system for people to like that to be handled spiritually. Okay? And that kind of system is more fair. So it's not about doing some dirty esoteric work on somebody. Although sometimes that has to happen, right? Because sometimes it is warranted. Sometimes you do get permission. Sometimes you can't get permission to fuck somebody up. You can. Because, if you take it to this regular justice system in this old false world, false matrix, it ain't happening. They're going to get what the fuck they want. They're going to get away with it. Because that's how the false matrix works. Everything is in reverse. Everything is backwards. People blame the victim instead of blaming the person who's assaulted you. They say, well, why did you do this? Why did you do that? I even had a dream about that. About something happened to a guy where some guy did something to another guy. And the guy that decided to take up for himself, everybody hopped on the guy who decided to defend himself. I even had a dream about that. That is how this false matrix works. Is that people hop on you for defending yourself. So I don't expect nothing to happen to folks like that in the false matrix. That's why I'm more for the spiritual system. The spiritual system don't care what color you are. So the spiritual system not even going to favor your brown skin. And it's certainly not going to favor a Caucasian or an Asian. Because they are certainly favored in this false matrix. They are favored. But they are not favored in the spiritual system. Nobody is. Everybody's going to be treated fair. Don't matter what color you are. You mess with somebody, you do dirt to somebody, you're going to get the fucking dirt back. That's how that works. So I don't want to go and pay somebody some money to fuck with my fucking energy and heal and all this. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to do it anyway. You got to take accountability for yourself because they're not going to turn around and undo what they did. But at the same time, something needs to happen to them. I don't want to see you having a happy life after you don't ruin somebody else's or after you don't ruin mine, because people can ruin your life. They can. They can do that. And now once you learn and you learn how to protect yourself, then people might not have additional opportunities to do it. But at some point in your life, yes, people have messed with you. People have hurt you. People have ruined your life. And you do have to take accountability on your healing. But at the same time, something needs to happen with them. It needs to be justice, regardless of what kind of work you do on yourself. There still needs to be justice. The justice is not in you working on yourself and spending your hard-earned money or taking your hard-earned your time away from whatever you could be doing. You taking all your time to work on healing those deep impressions that could have been there since you were a little girl, and then you gotta. You still wounded, but trying to, people want to come in and keep messing with you. I get that there's lower vibrational entities. I get that, but people allow themselves to be used, so guess what? They need to be canceled. I'm not going to allow people having low vibrational entities as a reason why they cannot have self-control. Why? Because I have experience with low vibrational entities. I have experience. I have probably more experience than a lot of people that do a lot of shit. A lot of people do a lot of shit, and especially people in a position of power. I'm not talking about nobody on the street or somebody, some junkie or something like that. Listen, that's a whole different situation right there, and they need to be taken care of too, because they're a danger to themselves and to other people. They need to be taken care of too in a different kind of way, okay? Because they're not necessarily abusing power. I'm talking about folks who abuse the power they have, whether it's in the metaphysical. I mean, I've been there with people who were high priests, high priestesses, high ranking in the Freemasons, witch doctors, whatever, people in authority at the job, whether it's a supervisor, whether it's administrators, judges. I'm talking about folks like that abuse their power. I don't give a fuck about low entities being in them. They keep doing what they do because they get away with it. It's like the low entities. They keep doing what they do because they get away with it. That's just the bottom line. They get what they want. So whatever those low entities are, this is helping them get rich, okay? So they're not interested in changing. So I don't care what's taking over them. But yeah, it gotta be justice. When it comes to that, it has to be a justice type of system, and you can do that within yourself and bring justice swiftly to these people that keep getting away with shit. Even if it's the police, even if it's a judge that might have something might have happened unjustly, somebody was sentenced or whatever unjustly, and the justice system ain't shit. This person probably didn't do what the fuck they were accused of doing. That's when it's time to leave this fucking system alone. Leave the false matrix alone. It's time to do something. That's when you do have to work on yourself, because everybody in that sense has to work on themselves no matter what. And work on yourself and switch to in your inner self, switch to a spiritual system. Take your inner self. I have to continue to work on this all the time. And if anybody have any ideas how I can speed up this process, please let me know, because I'm ready for some swift justice. Okay? I'm ready for some swift justice. Even molesters, I don't care, man or woman. Trafficking, this child trafficking, it's about to fucking stop. I'm ready for swift justice. And that takes us to work on ourselves, our inner self. That's not going to come from anywhere outside, because the outside is false. It don't exist no way. I'm almost happy they did what they did about telling me not to, because I need some time off to really work on myself with this switch. I need time off to work on myself anyway. And I can't be worrying about money if I'm talking about switching to a spiritual system. I can't be worried about, well, what am I going to do? I can't be doing that. I can't do it. I just got to know that it's going to, whatever I need is going to fucking come. And I'm not going to be all stressed about it, thinking about it and bite my fucking nails, because I hate doing that too. If I need something the next day and it's not coming, then all of a sudden it comes. But I don't like that. I don't like feeling, I don't like feeling like that. I've been through that too many times. That, to me, that puts me in my ego. I don't want to deal with that anymore. It needs to, whatever I need needs to come swiftly. I don't want to wait till the last day. Boom, it pops up. I don't like that. Okay, you don't know if it's going to come, but then a miracle come at the last minute. I don't like that. That is not a good position to constantly be in. And I'm not constantly in that position anyway, but I don't want to be in that position anymore. Okay, because I know what that felt like too many times. And that kind of position, I don't like that. That's not good. But anyway, so I need this time off anyway to just like switch my inner self to a spiritual system, to a spiritual time. Because when you work on your inner world, your inner self, not what you think you see on the outside, or not even who you think you see in a mirror. That's not the person you're working on. That person is just some kind of reflection that you see with your false matrix eyes. That person is not even real. When I get out the matrix and get out this false matrix, the virtual reality, and I see what I really look like, sometimes I see drawings, sometimes I see what looks like cartoons, and sometimes I see like these wavelengths, these frequencies. I don't see nothing that look like me, what I see in the mirror. I don't see that. So that person that's not the person, that's not the inner person I'm working on anyway. That's a reflection. That's what I think I'm seeing. That's something I think I'm seeing with my false matrix eyes. So yeah, the inner world, I mean, especially if you feel like it's time, you're tired and you don't want to adjust to the fucking hell. Like, you don't want to adjust to the false matrix and they shit and they unjustness and all this fucking stuff they do, and they keep getting away with it. I don't want to keep getting used to the children getting child sex trafficked. I don't want to get used to what these politicians keep doing. I don't want to get used to them, messing with the electricity, and you got to go move somewhere into the country, and then you got to learn how to live off grid. Well, you need to prepare to do that, and everybody's not able to prepare to do that at the same time. And where is everybody going to go if they go off grid? There's millions of people that might need to go off grid. Exactly where are they going to go? Because then the off grid place is going to be crowded up. See, it just can't work just thinking about a physical way to do things. I mean, the thing about a physical way, it can be good, but that should be only 20% of your planning, honestly, because of physical, there's a false matrix. So yeah, I put money aside, I might do this and that, but that should be only 20% because it's false. And relying heavily on just the physical, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Whatever you saved up, you can lose. With relying just on the physical like that. But at this point, I'm done with all of that. You know what? It's time to switch to a spiritual system. That's what justice is done swiftly. But even with that, we got to get ourselves in divine order. We got to get ourselves aligned. Okay? Because justice is going to come to whoever it's supposed to come to. Okay? So that means we still have to get ourselves aligned too. But yeah, that's all. I'm done with the doggone healing. Even though, yeah, I believe in healing. I don't really like that word. I feel like it's a better word for it. But I'm going to use that for right now. I believe in it. Yeah, I believe in doing shadow work. I believe in doing shadow work because the shadow is the real you. The shadow is is you, and not the person you think you see that you think is physical. The shadow is actually you. Everything that's affecting you is in the shadow. So the shadow is the real person. Actually, I found out the real me is on the other side of the mirror. Not where I think I am right now. The who I really am, the real me is on the other side of the mirror. But anyway, So being in a false world, everything is in reverse, everything is backwards, and that's just everything just seems to be off and not right. Switch back to the upright, get in the spiritual system, where things are judged more fairly. Okay, things are judged more fairly. It don't matter how popular you are. It don't matter how charismatic you are. Because in this world, narcissism rules. Like the narcissistic people get the most. It's like narcissism rules. But you get to a justice system, not justice, but a spiritual justice system. And it don't matter how good you are at gab. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. You can be a person that can't speak, can't hardly say words. You can be a person of low intelligence, not very smart. The spiritual system ain't looking at that shit. The spiritual system see everything that you're trying to fucking hide. The spiritual system sees what's in your fucking heart. No matter how well you speak and able to, and popular and have a great personality. The spiritual system gonna look right at that fucking heart. That's where it's gonna fucking look. And I like that because I haven't always been that person who was able to have that gift of gab or to just be to persuade people to think the way I want them to think. But you have other ones who are gifted at that they can lie their teeth off and get everybody on their side and they get away with whatever they want to get away with and they turn around and have a good fucking life. That is not justice. And the people they hurt, yeah, they got to heal, but that's not fair to continue to go and pay some money. Listen, you fucking hurt me. Especially when you're malicious and you know you're doing it and you don't care and you enjoy fucking hurting people. I don't want to continue to go to a fucking psychologist and pay $200 to talk to some fucking body for maybe a half an hour. I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to go to no energy healing specialist or somewhere, somebody to talk or somebody. I don't want to keep having to do that. You fuck with me, I shouldn't have to go spend my money to undo what the fuck you did. So that's where the justice comes in. My healing comes when the people who, especially the people like the mother, I'm calling them the mother, the brother, and other people, high priestesses, other folks, this supervisor, the administrator. My healing comes with justice. When justice comes swiftly, when the shit that they have done comes back on them, but maybe not in the same way they did it, it's going to be in a different way, but it's going to be pretty bad. Because people are going to realize ain't no fucking such thing as separation for real. They're going to see that fucking shit. The spiritual system tells you, the spiritual system is about ending the fucking idea of separation. Ending the idea of separation, because separation you get into the ego. So the spiritual system is about ending that idea of separation. And people do shit to other folks and they go and live well because they feel like they really think they're different from somebody else. They really think they're different from somebody else. You get into a spiritual system, they're going to see they're not fucking different and you're all really connected for real. You just fell into an ego and you thought you were separate and you didn't feel anything because you were into an ego. Once the ego world passed away and you get into that spiritual system, they're going to fucking find out that everything is fucking connected and they're going to feel that fucking shit they don't put on somebody else. They're going to feel all of it plus some more. They're going to feel all of it. And that's where the other person that was done wrong, that's where the fucking justice and the healing comes. When people who think they keep getting away with shit, it fucking blows back on them. Okay? I don't want them standing before a judge unless they're really going to get some real justice is going to be done. But a lot of times in court, it's not real justice. And a lot of times we see in court, the real justice is you're not really seeing real justice, because if you see real justice, a lot of these folks at the top, these billionaires involved in child sex trafficking, going to these other countries, fucking with the lands or whatever. If real justice take place, those people will go down, and I think they are going down or they have gone down. Could be. But they're probably going down no matter, it's no telling of what's trying to take over in that particular world. You know what I mean? So you got to create what world you want to be in, because just waiting for something to happen to them, so, oh yeah, they going down, but you don't know who's taking them down. Somebody else could be taking them down to bring themselves up, and you might be in their system. And whoever's taking them down to come back up and rule, I don't know if I'm gonna like what the fuck they doing either. Okay, I'm just saying I don't know if I'm gonna like what the fuck they doing either. So if somebody taking Bill Gates and all them down, you don't know if they're gonna be any better. They're taking them down just so they can come up and rule, but I might not like them. So when it comes to it, it's like you want to create what you want to fucking see. You know. Okay, so but yeah, that's all it. Yeah, for me, most of the healing comes from justice and not just from, okay, I just got to move past it. No. People got to know that what they've done. People gonna have to feel it. People gonna have to feel what they've done. Okay. They were under the illusion that they were separated when they were not. And that's why we have a concept of time, by the way, this particular time. That's why we even have time, the clock, because of this idea of fucking separation. At least that's what the spirit told me. That's what I was fucking told, like, I think almost 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago, that's what I was told. Like it just suddenly came to me. Okay, like it was something that impressed. It was like a thought form that came to me saying the end separation. That's how time goes away. You have time because people are in their ego, so the ego world brings time. Once people get out the idea that they actually separate and they see that they're not really separate, and then time doesn't even exist. And that's just what came to me in 2019. But anyway, that's it. Now talk later.